Aries, how are you? Let's do a reading for your current energy, shall we? As always, please take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in this story. Now, I sure appreciate each and every one of you. I do. And if you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It makes a difference to my channel, and I would love to see my channel continue to grow. So, with that being said, let's move on to your reading, because that's what matters, right, Aries? All right? First cards out for you are the Ace of Wands. Wow, that's a spectacular card to come out for you, all right? The Ace of Wands to the Four of Cups. All right, I think, when it comes to your relationships and what it is that you really love, because we have this Four of Cups, all right? When we have the Four of Cups energy, I mean, we're sitting here contemplating this cup, all right? there could be somebody that you really, really love. Is it who you want to be with forever and ever? Are you a little bored with them? Is it going to check all the boxes? Here, I just see you really sitting here looking at this cup. Now, the other thing that this could indicate is that, with the Four of Cups in the recent past, you used to be really, really happy. And now, it's not that you're not happy, but is it really what you want? So I think you're sitting on the fence as to whether or not this is somebody who is really the person you should invest into. Should I really kind of go along with it and see whether or not this could really lead to something really, big, or maybe not. For some of you, you may be dealing with a Cancer. Look at that big crab right there on his head. So, you love the person, all right? And there's definitely chemistry, and there's definitely a bond, but there's something about you, Aries. You're kind of like, really trying to meditate on this relationship. So that might be the forefront of, the week, is this energy. We do have the Strength card coming in reversed, and it is above you. So you're feeling a little unstable about all of this, right? Because here we have the Queen, we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed at the base, and we have the Strength card above you. All right, so when we have these energies of, you not feeling really stable, really secure, maybe you don't know whether this is what you really want down the road. I mean, I just feel as if, you're truly contemplating this energy with this person. Now, we do have the Nine of Swords in the recent past. So, I think this gives you a lot of stress. So here's what I'm feeling, all right, Aries, that this person is into you maybe a little more than you are into them. Could that be? Maybe. I just feel like, there is a situation with this relationship that's really trying to stress you out. And we have the Five of Pentacles also coming in. But look at the image on this card. We feel, we've got you here. Somebody's got their arm around you. They've got the dog over here kind of barking at you like, hey, you got to look at how they are with you. All right. So, if you feel alone in this relationship, and maybe this is a relationship where one person dominates and the other one just goes along. Because I just feel like this person is really possessive of you. And maybe that bothers you, maybe you don't want to be so like clinged on to. I'm just like all of these feelings. I mean, this is why you're sitting here. I'm like, oh my gosh, and you're feeling a little unstable with the Queen of Pentacles at the root of all that's going on. So, on the outside, I think you are acting as if everything is really good, all right? Because it's not bad, all right? Because, look, we have this Ace of Wands. Maybe this person wants to go to the next level. And, on the outside, you're kind of like, yeah, all right. But inside, you're contemplating whether or not you really want to go to the next level. So, a deep week is what I'm feeling for you, Aries, because this is hard. It's hard when you are involved with somebody who you really care about, but it may not be everything you want. Maybe you want to live a different kind of life than what they're after. And so things aren't matching right now. So what I see here with the Nine of Wands, all right, you guys have been through it and you've been going through it. Because the Nine of Wands, you have tried to mend fences, fix fences, build fences, to the point now where, you might be at a point of, maybe we need to let this go, says the Death card. Maybe this isn't meant to be. Maybe I'm better off by myself than feeling these ways. So a little instability, you know, when it comes to your feelings towards someone this week, not really knowing. You know, follow the advice of this card. He's sitting in meditation. Sit with it, okay? I don't think any decision needs to be made this week, does it? I mean, who's putting the pressure on for you to stay or go? You know, I mean, but I just feel like you have this week to just kind of sit down and really kind of look at the big picture here, all right? You know, because you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's so overly possessive that you don't look forward to hanging out with them. You know, it's one of those things where, and when I'm talking possessive, it's just like you get up, you get a phone call, and you go to another room. So now their antennas are flying off the charts, going, "What are you doing? Who are you talking to?" Like, you know, it just, you want to know that you can just answer the phone. Right? And not have somebody wondering, who are they talking to? So I just feel as if, you know, you're dealing with a relationship where there is a lot of possessiveness, and, you know, that could be insecure feelings, you know, of fear of, you know, oh my gosh, if they're not with me, who are they with? If they're not talking to me, who are they talking to? You know, there's just this energy of, you know, insecurity when it comes to someone in this connection. Now, with the Death card coming in here, this is where you're at, and this is where you have trying to figure out, you know, there is a lot of passion here, and you two have a thing, right? You guys have a thing, and it's going good, all right? Maybe you don't want to take it to the next level, so don't, you know, just kind of let it kind of be and see if the next level naturally emerges. You know what I mean? Like when we start to put expectations on one person or another in the relationships, it gets hard, you know, because we get disappointed. So, Aries, you know, your final outcome here this week is that of the Magician. Things are changing, all right? With this Magician card, you know, we see that an old structure of how your life was isn't there anymore. It's fallen away, you know? You've changed, you've grown, and there that snake is shedding its skin. But this is the Magician card. All of this had to happen, you know, in order for you to make the next steps. And I think this is where you're at. You are at the next step. Bottom of the deck, we have you coming out as the Queen of Wands. This is fire energy. This is you being focused, you know, and really clear about what it is that you want, the direction you want to go in. When you have, you know, this Queen energy, all right, because she's amazing, right? Everybody adores the Queen of Wands, you know, because they're charismatic, they're charming, they can put themselves out there. I mean, they're just amazing people, you know, they are very knowledgeable, they're worldly, you know, I mean, they're entrepreneurial, they're creative, you know, I mean, this is power. And I think you know that, and you don't want to let go of this. And maybe this possessiveness that you are feeling with this connection kind of takes away from the power. Now, what's coming to mind right now is, you know, when we get together with someone, you know, people fall in love with that person, you know, pretend you're on stage, right? I'm on stage, you know, and they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. There's nothing that you do that doesn't make me feel some way or another, right? But with saying that, you know, the next thing that happens is that the bubble gets popped. You know, and I think, you know, you're at that point where the bubble is finally popping. And now the reality of what you have to do comes in, because see, that person fell in love with this person that, you know, was on stage and was dynamic and everything else. And now, you know, we're in this relationship and, you know, you're not so much that person anymore, are you? You know, because they want to change you. They don't, you know, it's just like that powerful person that you were out there, you know, well, now you're mine, okay? Now you're mine. So you can't put yourself out there anymore. You can't be who you were, that person that I fell in love with. Do you know what I'm getting at? I hope you guys know where I'm getting at. It's just that, you know, we get together with someone because we love who they are when we meet them, and we think they're just extraordinary. But then, you know, we get very, very needy and clingy and possessive of the relationship. And now what we want, you know, is them all to ourselves, you know, and they want you to just kind of be this different person, not that person that was so independent and powerful, right? So I think this is where you're kind of at, you know, it's just like you are this person that they fell in love with, but they want you to be something else now because now we're together. So now you can't be that person. That doesn't make sense, right? So anyway, I just feel like, you know, Aries, you are in a place right now where, you know, you really have to think about the next move. You know, if you are really passionate about something else and this relationship isn't going to allow you to do that, you know, then we got to think about that. So, you know, this is a week where you're going to really kind of figure out whether or not we can transform this relationship and make it work. And listen, that's the whole thing about relationships. You know, it just doesn't happen, you know, and 30 years later, you know, you're sitting there rocking on the front porch. You know, there's ups and downs and highs and lows. And the ability to transform comes with the death card. It doesn't necessarily say, you know, gosh, I don't know if I want to be with this person anymore, you know. And this 9 here, you know, is saying we've reached so far, you know. I mean, we're so close, but at the same time, now I'm starting to feel the instability of this connection because I don't know whether I can handle this possessiveness, you know, that you've got on me. So anyway, that's what I got for you, Aries. I really hope you understood what I was trying to say. And if you didn't, oh well, you know, it's not the first time I've been misunderstood. But listen, take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in the story, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So hit that like button, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you at another reading. Until then, be happy, be kind, and be healthy, all right?